Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. In today's video, I am going to be telling you the 17 most important / impactful life lessons that I learned while I was 17. So for those of you who don't know, I turned 18 about a week ago, so I always love watching these videos where people talk about the things that they learned at every age, and I've never done one before on my channel, so I thought I would do one of things that I learned while I was 17 and just kind of things that I've learned in my teenage years in general that I have found really impacted my life a lot in a really positive way and kind of helped me to see things a lot differently. So if you are a teenager, or even if you're not a teenager, like basically anyone of any age should know these lessons. Yeah, definitely keep on watching. But before we get into the video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you are not already subscribed, it would mean the world to me, and give this video a thumbs up. And without further ado, let's just get right on into the video. Okay, so the first lesson that I learned at 17 was it honestly does not matter what people think about you. And I know everyone says don't worry about what other people think and things like that, and I always read those things, but deep down I did still care what other people think of me. And I'm not saying that right now I have totally no cares about what people think. Like, obviously you are still going to worry about what people think, but you have to remember that people are going to come and go out of your life. You are going to meet so many different people and things like that, and even you might be worried about people judging you that you don't even know or have no impact in your life. It only matters what you think about yourself, and if you are happy with yourself and who you are, it doesn't matter what other people think, because in the end you are the person that you are going to spend the rest of your life with ultimately. And I know there will be a lot of long-term people in your life, but you are the most important person. You have to worry about making yourself happy before worrying about making anyone else happy, and you can't worry about what people think. And I know it's easier said than done, but I promise this is something that is worth working on. Lesson number 2 kind of goes along with a similar theme, and it is to do what you want. Obviously, you cannot just do a free-for-all. You still have responsibilities and things like that, and even though you might want to sit in bed and watch Netflix all day, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about if there is something that you want to do, a goal that you want to achieve, a school that you want to go to, a job that you want to get, you have to do that for yourself. You can't worry about what someone else thinks, or if someone thinks that you're not capable. You can't worry if somebody thinks that you can't do it, or that you should be doing something better maybe, or that maybe that's beneath you. You can't worry about that. You have to do what you want, and you have to help yourself first. And honestly, that is so important. You have to focus on what you want and not what other people want, because ultimately, like I said in lesson number 1, you have to make yourself happy before you can make anyone else happy. Okay, tip number 3 is something that I definitely did not learn until a few months ago, but I'm so glad that this is something that I am starting to learn and work on and improve. But it is that plans change. You need to be flexible with your plans and your goals. Obviously, you want to do everything that you can to achieve a goal, but if suddenly it's something that maybe you don't think that you want anymore, then you have to be flexible with yourself and maybe change your plans. If you don't want something, it's for a reason. Or if maybe you want to go do something else, it's for a reason. And I'm going to talk about that one a little bit later, but you have to be flexible with plans changing, whether it's big plans or small plans. Again, this all comes back to doing what's right for you, and you have to realize it's okay that your plans change and it's not the end of the world. Okay, tip number 4 is something that I was just kind of talking about, but everything happens for a reason. I kind of started thinking that way this past year, and honestly, it has helped me gain so much perspective by thinking that everything happens for a reason. Something that you might be dreading doing and you're like, this is the worst thing to ever happen to me, this is the worst thing ever. You might look back on it 10-20 years from now and say, oh my god, if that did not happen, my life would be totally different. Maybe you wouldn't have met a person that made a huge impact on your life. Maybe you wouldn't have got a certain opportunity that changed everything for you. So you kind of have to look at it from that way. And I know it's really hard because you can't see into the future, but you just have to trust the process and know that everything happens for a reason. I am a really strong believer in that, and it has honestly helped me when things don't necessarily go my way or things don't necessarily go according to plan. I just know that it is happening for a reason. Okay, tip number 6 and 7 are very similar, so I'm just going to lump them together. But tip number 6 is to never judge people. It's not going to make you feel better about yourself. You may think that tearing someone else down is going to make you feel better about yourself, but it won't. It's only going to make you feel worse about yourself. And also, yes, some people make mistakes, and sometimes they make big mistakes. But also, some people are still learning, especially when you're in your teenage years and you're in middle school or high school. everyone is still learning just like you. You make mistakes too, and you are not perfect, and you would not want people going with their friends and talking about the mistakes that you make and criticizing every little thing that you do. So don't do that to someone else. It's not going to make you feel better. I promise it's not going to. Tip number 7 is a little bit related, but you never know what's going on in someone's life, which is why you can't be judging someone. Maybe you might be thinking that someone has a perfect life and they have no reason to be acting the way that they are acting, but in reality, you have no idea. Think about some of the most recent things that have happened in your life that have changed you or impacted you for good or bad things that have happened, and think, does that one person who sits beside me in English class know about all that stuff? No. So if they don't know those things about your life, you probably don't know those things about their life. So don't assume that you do. Again, it's not good for you, it's not good for them, and it's not going to make you a happier person. It's just going to waste your time. So don't be judging people. I know we all do it sometimes. We've all gossiped, we've all done things like that, but it's important to try and improve and recognize that it is something that you do and something that you need to work on, which is what I have been trying to do. Tip number 8 also kind of goes along with tips number 6 and 7, but is that small gestures make a difference, because again, you have no idea the kind of day that a person's had. Maybe a person has had a terrible, awful day, and you holding the door open for them could really make their day a lot better. Like, I know you might think that, oh, it's just a small gesture, it's not going to mean anything, and something that might be super simple for you to do, like holding the door open for someone or just giving them a compliment, could honestly change their entire day and make their day so much better. So you have no idea the weight and actions that the impact that your actions can have, is what I meant to say, good or bad. This is kind of like a bonus tip. I didn't write it down, but I kind of just thought of it. So you have no idea the impact that your actions could do. So do small actions for people as often as you can. Put little random acts of kindness as often as you can, and also know that just like a small gesture can make a big impact, a small negative gesture can also make a big impact. Maybe it's not something that you're intending to negatively affect someone, but it can negatively affect someone. So just keep that in mind, and always think before you speak. Lesson number 9 is that it's okay to say no. It's okay to prioritize yourself sometimes. It's okay if your friends are asking you to hang out, but you feel like you really need that self-care day. It's okay to tell your friends that. Like, you don't want to be blowing people off all the time, but if you are feeling like you just need a little bit of a break, or you can't take on that project, it's okay to say no. If you're feeling overwhelmed, it's okay to say no. You don't have to say yes all the time. And this is such an important lesson that I feel like especially young people need to learn, because we are so overwhelmed when we're in school with extracurriculars, clubs, sports, school, family stuff, jobs, things like that. It's okay to say no if you feel like you can't handle something, and your mental health always comes first. So that's why I always think that it's okay to say no, and just recognize that, and recognize if something's going to add impact to your life or if it's going to hurt you, and if it's going to hurt you, say no. Tip number 10 is something that I feel like we all need to hear, including myself, but you're not always going to be right, and that is just a fact. Nobody can be right 100% of the time, and that's fine. You can say things and realize you were wrong, and after doing some research, you can apologize and say, I'm sorry, I realized that I was wrong. The other thing is it's okay to not know the answers to something. If someone asks you something or asks for your opinion on something, it's okay to say, I'm sorry, I just don't know enough about that. I would like to do some research before I answer your question or offer you help on that thing. There's nothing wrong with saying that you don't know enough about something, and honestly, I feel like it makes a person look so much more knowledgeable if they actually just admit that they don't know something instead of trying to pretend that they do know something. This is something I didn't even realize until recently, but trying to pretend that you know more about something than you do doesn't make you look smart. It just makes it look like you're pretending to know something. So it's fine. Just like it's okay to say no, it's okay to say you don't know something as well. Tip number 11 is pretty simple, but don't just wait around for things to change, because they won't. You have to take action yourself, and don't just keep saying, oh, I'll do that tomorrow, I'll do that next week, things like that, because you need to take action if you want anything to change in your life. And that's pretty self-explanatory, but I feel like it's something that a lot of people need to hear, including myself. Tip number 12 is to find something that you're passionate about that enhances your life in a positive way, but also brings you enjoyment. For example, for me, that is working out. It brings me so much enjoyment, and it is the best part of my day. Ever since I found the right workout, of course, I love doing Vlogolati's videos. I don't love certain types of workouts, but that is something that I do love to do, and that brings me enjoyment and happiness, and it also enhances my life because it enhances my mental and physical health. So that's just an example. example, but I recommend finding something that you are passionate about that makes your life better and also you find enjoyment in. Lesson number 13 is if you are trying to improve at something, whether it be your grades, your physical fitness, a hobby, things like that. These things take time. It's not gonna happen in a day. It's not gonna happen in a week. It might not even happen in a month. Sometimes these things take a long time, but you cannot give up. You need to enjoy the journey and not just be waiting for the results, because if you are just searching for results, they're not gonna come. And if they do come, they're not gonna last. You have to enjoy the journey in order to see the results at the end. Lesson number 14 is one that I didn't even learn until recently, but I'm really glad I did. And it's not everyone is going to change your life. There's going to be some people who come into your life that are just going to be acquaintances or someone fun to hang out with once in a while. They're not going to necessarily change your life, and that is okay. But going along with that, if there is somebody who is toxic in your life and taking away from you and making you unhappy, that is someone that you shouldn't be around. So you don't need to like unfriend someone or remove someone from your life just because they don't change your life, because there are just some people that just aren't going to change your life but aren't necessarily negative. There's a difference between that and someone who is toxic and that is taking away from your life, and that is someone that you shouldn't have in your life. Basically what I'm trying to say is there's a difference between someone who doesn't add anything to your life and someone who takes away from your life. That's just my personal opinion. I know that one's a little controversial, so take it as you want to, but that's personally what I believe. Tip number 15 is to always be thankful. Even on your worst days, you have something to be thankful for. You'll have no idea the amount that gratitude can change your life. Even if you just write something down that you're grateful for in the notes section of your phone, or as you're falling asleep, think of 3 things that you're grateful for that day. Even on your worst days when you feel like you have nothing to be thankful for, I promise that you do. And if you can learn to look on the bright side as opposed to just thinking about all the negative things, that will impact your life so much, and it will make you feel so much happier, and it will just make you have so much more of a positive mindset. Lesson number 16, not everyone's gonna agree with you, and arguing about the small things is just not worth it. If it's just something small like an ice cream flavor or a favorite animal or a TV show, it's not worth it to argue about those things. And not everyone's gonna agree with you, and that's okay. We all have different tastes and we all have different likes and dislikes, and that's what makes us all unique. So don't waste your breath arguing about small little things, because honestly, it is not worth it in the long run. And my last life lesson, number 17, is something that I feel like is so important and kind of goes along with the last one, and that is to, like I said, don't argue about the small things, but take a stance on the things that matter. Take a stance on the things that you believe in. The injustices in the world and things like that that you feel like are wrong, take a stand against it. Take a stand against your beliefs, because if you're just gonna sit and be quiet and not fight for what you believe in, at the end of the day, you're always gonna regret not fighting for what you believe in when you had the chance. There's been so many times where I'm like, I wish I would have said something, because what that person said was so incredibly wrong and disrespectful and hurtful to somebody else, and I wish I would have said something. Obviously, it's very emotionally draining to be fighting with everyone all the time, and sometimes those little fights aren't worth it. Like fighting in the Instagram comments with someone about politics is probably not worth your time, because they're not going to change their mind, you're not going to change your mind. But the bigger injustices and things like that, I feel like are so important, and we all need to fight against them and fight for what we believe in. Okay, so those are the 17 things that I learned at 17 and through my teenage years. I really hope that some of these things can help you guys, and that you guys maybe learned something from this. If you have any other lessons that you've learned throughout your life, definitely drop them down below in the comments. We can all help each other out and support each other. If you have any opinions on the things that I said, I'd love to hear them down below. But please just be respectful of me and everyone else in the comments. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!